Access to water is an absolutely fundamental sustainability challenge because water is our most precious resource. There is no life without water, and all our daily activities rely to a certain extent to our access to water resources. And the second reason is that there is no substitute for water resources. We can substitute fossil fuels with renewable sources of energy in order to try to stabilize global warming. We don't have such opportunities for water resources. Water is unique, cannot be replaced by anything else. And it's a bit strange that this sustainability challenge is largely underestimated, especially if we compare it to climate change or losses of biodiversity, because precisely access to water is so crucial. One of the most important and crucial aspect of this short-term sustainability challenge is access to water in poor countries, because in developing, especially poor countries, a lot of people do not have access to clean water. Currently, 2 billion people in the world do not have access to safely managed drinking water, and among them, 700 million people drink polluted water. Additional to that, close to 4 billion people do not have access to basic sanitation services, which means that these two problems combined contribute to killing close to 2 million people a year. So lack of access to water is one of the biggest killers in the world if we compare that to other sustainable challenges. The solution to this situation is very simple. We need to invest a lot of money into water infrastructures in poor countries. Of course, it's a highly challenging task from a political point of view, but the solution relies on that, especially since many of these countries, in sub-Saharan Africa especially, do not have lack of water, they simply lack access to water. They have the resource, they don't have access to it because they lack the infrastructure to access to clean or treated water. In the coming decades, the main challenge we have to face is the fact that the world population will increase by some 2.5 to 3 billion people. And we will need to feed these people, which means that basically we will need to increase food production capacity at world level by some 60 to 70%, which is an enormous task. And since agriculture contributes to up to 70% of all water withdrawals at world level every year, this is in this domain that the biggest challenges lie. In this domain, the solutions are several. In fact, we have a long list of solutions, but the main ones are that we need first to fight against water losses, because we waste a lot of the water we use in all of our daily activities, up to 50 to 60% of all water withdrawals. It's an enormous reservoir of improvements. The next best thing we can do in terms of water management is to better use precipitations. So what we call rain-fed agriculture can be vastly extended in order to increase our food production capacity. Lastly, in the irrigated sector, what we must do is to improve the techniques we use to produce plants in order to make these techniques more water efficient. And there are many ways to do that. Unfortunately, yes, that's what scientists tell us, and potentially we have done that many decades ago. We have increased our pressures on water resources because of increasing world population, because of increasing standards of living across the world. And so now we use too much water compared to what ecosystems need in terms of water resources to sustain their own functioning, because water contributes to sustaining the well-functioning of all ecosystems like the climate system. So we are in this situation of trade-off between human needs of water and ecosystem needs of water. And we need to solve this problem over the coming decades, coming centuries, coming millennia, because this is our long-term sustainability challenge. How can we do that? It's an extremely challenging task. One possibility, of course, is to restrict our demand of water, but that will be difficult given the first two challenges we've discussed previously. One other possibility is to transfer water resources from where it is abundant to where it is rare. We can do that through, for example, trade connections. We cannot move water physically from one place to the other like we do with oil, for example, but we can do that through what we call virtual water, water which is used to produce industrial goods and mostly agricultural goods. So by moving products from where they are produced to where they are needed, we can do this job of transferring water resources from where it is still vastly abundant, and there are places where water is extremely abundant, to where it is extremely rare, like the Mediterranean area, for example. So we need to reorganize the trading system in order to take into account this long-term challenge. This is one possibility among many others. Managing access to water over the short term, the medium term, or the long term is a daunting challenge, but we have a long list of solutions to face this challenge, and it's up to the governments to take the right decisions in order to implement this list of solutions.